the needed opportunities to ensure that Nigerian scientists work towards providing solutions to our problems of insecurity, unemployment, poverty, healthcare delivery and power, among others.
You're still watching Nationwide. We want to pause for some messages. We'll be back shortly, so stay tuned.
Africa is a land of opportunities. There's no better time to be and become an entrepreneur in Africa.
When I got my seed capital, it was just an idea. I didn't even have a business. There was no happy coffee.
Right now, we are employing 22 young people.
De recevoir le financement qui m'a aidé à démarrer cette activité et aider beaucoup.
Having been an entrepreneur myself, let me help to create more. That is the driving force behind the 28 Melu Foundation. No one but us will develop Africa. We need to look inward to see how we can share prosperity.
The future of Africa is in your hands.
Coming on April 2nd, 2020, in the capital city of Abuja, the Ivory Aid Ball, a life-saving fundraising event featuring music and arts in aid of skin cancer patients with albinism. For participation and sponsorship, call Edidiong on 070-197-73352 or Chinwe on 090-559-61514. This event is powered by Nigerian Television Authority, TV Enterprises, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, African Independent Television, and Ray Power FM, Silverbird Television, and Rhythm FM. The Albino Foundation, the Ivory Aid Ball, for a worthy cause. Watch out.
COVID-19 pandemic and the global economy is the focus this week on NTA Live. What mechanism is in place in Nigeria given the ravaging effect of the pandemic on the economy? For answers and more, tune in at 10:30 p.m. on NTA Live. Tuesday Live, incisive and educative. Join us.
My name is Balaunti. I'm the Managing Director of Petroleum Product Marketing Company, a subsidiary of NNPC. There are significant price discrepancy between Nigeria and its neighbors across Africa. There's a discrepancy of between 150 to 250 naira. That creates an incentive for arbitrage, whereby smuggling triumphed by taking petroleum product across the neighbors so that they can be sold at higher price. While the smugglers are making the money, Nigeria is paying for it. And that payment is distorting everything that we do in terms of planning, in terms of our ability to fund, and thereby taking money that is meant for development. The introduction of this Operation Wide will have a reduction of close to 6 million liters on daily basis, which if you take an average of 150, translate to a saving of over 1 billion naira every day. That is the benefit of Operation Wide, and we have started seeing the great benefit.
Nigerians, coronavirus is dangerous. It can kill. When you see this sign, high fever, cough, shortness of breath, drowsiness, pneumonia, don't panic, don't hide, don't embark in self-medication. Promptly visit the nearest medical facility. Report all cases to the nearest hospital. Prevention is key. Avoid contact with infected persons. Avoid crowded areas as much as possible. Wash your hands regularly. Use hand sanitizers. Your life is precious. Stay alive. Live long, live right. This message is sponsored by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture and the Nigerian Film Corporation. Nigerian Film Corporation, powering possibility.
Many thanks for staying with us. President Muhammadu Buhari commiserates with families who lost loved ones and all those affected by the explosion in Abule Ado, Odofin local government area of Lagos State on Sunday. The president, in a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, says he received with deep sadness the news of the unfortunate incidents which caused loss of lives and property. A misfortune of whatever scale anywhere, the president says, is a tragedy to the country. His deepest and profound sympathy goes to the victims, their families, government and people of Lagos State. And still on the Abule Ado explosion, the All Progressives Congress commiserates with victims of Sunday morning incident. The party, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Lanre Isa Onilu, sympathizes with residents who lost property in the explosion and wishes the injured speedy and full recovery. The party also commends the emergency responders in quickly containing the fire and attending to victims. Similarly, President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, has expressed sympathy towards those who are injured and those who lost property to the inferno. The President of the Senate also commiserated with the Lagos State government over the tragic incident and prayed to God to comfort all those who were affected, while calling on the relevant authorities to get to the root of the incident with a view to forestalling a recurrence. Still on that, the Progressives Governors Forum has commiserated with the government and people of Lagos for the sad incidents of the pipeline explosion that caused many deaths and devastating damages to many houses in Abule Ado area of Lagos State. Chairman of the forum, Governor Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State, in a statement condoled their colleague, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the people of Lagos, especially the residents and indigenes of Abule Ado, who have lost their homes, property, livelihood, and have been displaced by the ruin. The Progressives governors have expressed confidence that, with the good leadership of Lagos State government, the situation will be managed in the best way possible. All right, let's join my colleague in Port Harcourt, Dibabari, to bring us more reports on Nationwide.
Port Harcourt. The University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital has debunked rumors making the rounds concerning the alleged patient of COVID-19 referred to the hospital. Ijoma Ogweke has the report.
Since the outbreak of coronavirus in the country, with 2 confirmed cases in Lagos and Ogun State, the River State Ministry of Health and other relevant authorities are leaving nothing to chance to check the spread of the virus to River State. Rising from a press briefing by the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital concerning the rumor making the rounds on alleged patient of COVID-19 referred to the hospital. Professor Prince Will Stanley, Chairman Medical Advisory Committee of the University Teaching Hospital, is here with me to clear the air on this issue.
Thank you very much. I am here to tell you that as far as we are concerned, there is no confirmed case of COVID-19 within River State and none in the confines of the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital. If there be such a case, it's only the Commissioner for Health in the state, the River State, Professor Chike Princewell, that will be in the place to make this announcement and communicate same to the Minister of Health.
People are advised not to panic, continue with the precautionary measures, and they also desist from rumors and fake news. From the Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, Ijomu Bweke, NTA News.
Thank you, Joma, for that report. The House of Representatives Committee on Environment has called on contractors handling remediation work in the oil-impacted communities across Ogoniland to fast-track action towards timely completion. Chairman of the committee, Johnson Aguma, made the call during the committee's oversight fact-finding visit to remediation sites in Ogoniland. Dian Kume Ulolo completes the story.
The technology adopted for non-complex polluted sites where remediation is on at the moment is the creation of biocells. This involves the excavation of contaminated soil and in turn subject them to treatment. This treatment allows microorganisms to degrade the contaminant to the level that is good enough for the soil to be returned to its original texture. The visit by the Committee on Environment is to appraise the level of ongoing remediation work at various project sites.
The money for this project is available. So whatever delay that is happening now, I am only encouraging or advising PrEP to see how they can increase the speed.
We are reviewing our processes to ensure that there is speed. They spoke about water. We are at the process of awarding to contractors who will do the water.
The visiting delegation earlier interfaced with the traditional institution in Thai Kingdom. From Thai local government area of River State, Dianukume Ulolu, NTA News.
The controversial 30,000 litre capacity truck abandonment by its occupants on citing officers of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has been handed over to the Akwa Ibom State government with a call on tanker drivers to always maintain rules of engagement while dealing with officers on duty. NSCDC State Commandant Samuel Fadeyi made this call during the handing over formalities in Uyo. Kelvin Samuel reports.
The 30-litre capacity truck impounded by officers of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in November 2019 suspected of carrying illegally refined petroleum products, but the intervention of the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Petroleum matters led to further investigation that revealed the product to be legitimate.
We did the forensic test. We also did a check on the depot where it loaded. It also came up genuine.
Handing over the truck to the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Petroleum matters, the NSCDC Akwa Ibom State Commandant Samuel Fadeyi advised tanker drivers who are carrying legitimate products not to fear whenever they sight officers on duty, but allow officers carry out necessary checks while ensuring that the command will continue to maintain professionalism and the discharge of their duty. The Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Petroleum matters, Victor Etefia, who received the truck on behalf of Petroleum Tanker Drivers Association, assured that the Akwa Ibom State government will continue to partner the agency in its fight against crude oil theft and other criminalities across the state. The truck was thereafter handed over to the chairman of Petroleum Tanker Drivers Association, who had issued a strike notice to the Akwa Ibom State government demanding that the truck be released. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
And we are done from this zone. Is back to Ruth for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you, Dibabari. The Federal Road Safety Corps is cautioning truck drivers plying Kano-Maiduguri Highway to exercise caution, especially as they approach Showaring in Jigawa State, interchanging flyover to avert accidents. Now, this followed an accident which occurred Monday morning, killing many cows. Let's now join Mohammed Musa Askira at the site for details.
Here is a truck that was coming from Azare town where it loaded about 37 cows and on its way to Port Harcourt in the southern part of this country and had an accident here in the early hour of this morning. About 37 cows were on board actually. Eyewitnesses here are saying that the vehicle was overspeeding and that when it came to this bend, it could not maneuver the story to take its bearing, and so the accident happened. Actually, with me here is Malang Abdullahi Yahya, who was one of the witnesses when the incidents happened. Malang Abdullahi Yahya, menene ya faru ne takamaimai da safe?
To abun da ya faru misalin karfe 9:30 Allah ya kawo ibtila'i, motar ta zo daidai kan kwana, Allah ya kawo ta kwace daga hannun direban nan.
He's saying that by 4 o'clock this evening, the cows are going to be reloaded and, be on their way to Port Harcourt. Meanwhile, 4 of the cows were slaughtered because they have sustained injuries that they could not withstand the pressure of, long journey anymore. So they were slaughtered and will be sold to consumers in Dutse. We will hear from the authorities what should be done or what kind of advices would they have for drivers who are applying this road to avoid this kind of incidents in the future.
All roads in Nigeria are not designed for high-speed driving, and as such, speed must be limited to the way that at any time and at any point in time, vehicles can be controlled without any much problem, especially this kind of vehicles that are already overloaded with animals. And you know, animals being living things, you know, they react to sudden movements and motions. And as soon as there is loss of control, the animals themselves will go haywire, and they will go helter-skelter, and they will destabilize the whole vehicle itself.
From Shuari town of Jigawa State, I am Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Many thanks, Mohammed, for that update. Let's look at security issues. 2 Boko Haram members have surrendered to troops of Operation Lafia Dole deployed to Tashanguto in Bama local government area of Borno State. A statement by the Nigerian Army Operations Media Coordinator Colonel Aminu Ilyasu indicates that the intensity of the ongoing counter-insurgency operations in the northeast made some of the terrorists to drop their arms and appeal to their colleagues to quit the baseless fight. Similarly, 6 kidnapped victims have been rescued by troops of the Nigerian Army. 4 were liberated in Anka local government area of Zamfara State, while the other 2 was in Mahuta village in Makarfi local government area of Kaduna State. Colonel Aminu Ilyasu notes that several bandits, terrorists were captured, arms recovered and camps destroyed. Still on security matters, the Nigerian Air Force says the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole on their Operation Decisive Edge has successfully destroyed some logistics facilities and other structures belonging to elements of the Islamic State of West African Province at Bukar Meram on the fringes of the Lake Chad in Borno State. In a statement by the Nigerian Air Force, the attack was executed on March 9, 2020 on the heels of intelligence reports indicating that the terrorists had resumed using the settlement to store their logistics supplies. Similarly, on March 11, 2020, fighter jets and a helicopter gunship scrambled by the Air Task Force to provide close air support to ground troops at Gubio, neutralized an ISWAP gun truck and some of their fighters as they attempted to beat a retreat after they were defeated by a combination of air and ground fire. And to other issues, human capital development and the recruitment of the professional manpower in manning critical sectors of the nation's economy is consistently receiving attention under the Petroleum Development Trust Fund Overseas Scholarship Scheme. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that PTDF is given a priority to MSCs and PhD students in the 2020-2021 exercise.
Our professionals drawn from different fields of learning, they are at this assignment inaugurated as panelists to oversee the selection of qualified candidates for the PTDF 2020-2021 scholarship. The PTDF through Special Fund trains requisite manpower in science-oriented areas for industrial development of the country, for which many have benefited. Already, more than 25,000 entries have been received across the country that will be screened in the 6 geopolitical zones headquarters.
It is necessary to reiterate the need for absolute professionalism and integrity of all parties in the conduct of the exercise.
The exercise, which will reflect the principle of federal character, has 2 weeks to complete its assignment ahead of successful candidate departure by September 2020.
We should expect transparency, and actually we'll do our best to make sure things are gone based on merit. The marking scheme is clearly defined. There is no ambiguity about the marking scheme. It is clearly defined. So we know what we want.
The host countries for the international scholarship are China, UK, France, Germany and Malaysia as an additional coverage area. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
With the recent unbundling of mass communication into 7 different courses by the National Universities Commission opened doors of choices to aspiring students of the course. In view of this, students of National Open University of Nigeria paid an excursion visit to the NTA headquarters in Abuja to have a feel of the dimensions of the course.
The final output that has been projected on the screen. Mass communication job has some behind the scenes not visible to the viewers. These unseen scenes are what these students from the National Open University have come to see. As their motto says, work and learn, they have come to learn in the workspace of the NTA. Their first port of call was the program's studio, where they were taken through the process of programming.
They don't need to go inside. They are outside. The director is outside, just like those people are there.
The network newsroom was next. Here, they were taken through the practical routine of news gathering, production, casting, as well as camera operations.
During that production stage, you just need seriousness, you need concentration, you need to give in your best. Because if anything goes wrong, the producer is going to answer for it.
Juliana Babalola is in her late 30s, a student of now. It is therefore necessary for her to juggle between work, education and personal life. A combination, she says, has not been easy. This visit to the NTA has no doubt intimated her with a desired course, which she says will help her perform greatly in her academic pursuit.
We as National Open University students, we are not used to classroom teaching. We do it on our own. So with this outing today, I think this is just like a practical aspect of education, which I think is of great value.
Coming here today has actually improved our whole knowledge base on the idea of mass communication.
I get to see some of the things I've been reading, like types of microphones, types of cameras, and the rudiments of news reporting.
They expressed optimism to be in the forefront of journalism in the nearest future.
Let's look at the economy. The Central Bank of Nigeria this Monday announced temporary policy measures to mitigate the effects of coronavirus on the economy. Let's now join Leah Katung-Babatende at the CBN headquarters to give us an update.
Have been reacting to growth concerns that the coronavirus has brought on major economies. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has this Monday reacted also to global concerns that have rattled markets from oil and gas to airlines, manufacturing, trade and consumer markets. Governor Godwin Emefiele of the Central Bank of Nigeria announced 6 initial policy responses to combat COVID-19 scourge on the Nigerian economy. Now, these policies, of course, include extension of moratorium on loans, interest rate reduction on CBN's interventions from 9% to 5%, the creation of a 50 billion naira fund, credit support for healthcare sector, regulatory forbearance and strengthening of loan to deposit rate policy.
Because of the drop in revenues to companies that may be or that will be directly adversely impacted upon by this COVID health crisis and economic crisis, because the revenues will drop, that we are saying if your loan was initially meant to be a, say, 3-year loan, where, for instance, you were paying on a monthly basis, say you took 10 million naira and you are paying, say, 100,000 naira as repayment, or a 3-year loan, we are saying we are going to grant the banks the dispensation where they can restructure your loan from 3 years to 6 years, such that in addition to low interest rates, what you'll be making in installmental repayment of your loans would have dropped from, say, 100,000 naira monthly to, say, 50,000 naira monthly to match the reduction in revenues arising from the impact of coronavirus.
And the Monetary Policy Committee will be meeting here next week, and the Governor Emefiele hints that decisions on the monetary policy rates would then be taken, but for now he has no answers to that question. From the Central Bank of Nigeria building, I am Leah Katung-Babatende.
Many thanks, Leah, for that update. Foreign relations experts have advocated international cooperation and synergy in tackling the COVID-19 as against the unilateral efforts by countries which they indicate might prolong the pandemic. While commending Nigeria's effort in tackling the outbreak, guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria observed that no country is truly safe until the pandemic is over.
Humans require visas and passports to travel from country to country, but not so for the coronavirus, which travels without barriers. While discussing the impact on foreign relations, Gaston Good Morning Nigeria highlighted the failure of global leadership and a drift towards unilateral policies and blame game.
When we got to know that it was far more serious than initially thought of in China, the world should have rallied to provide assistance to China. Look, even WHO, by the time WHO started sending people, it was almost a month or so into the crisis. We still need to learn how to cooperate with one another because the world is closely related. We are interdependent. If the supply chains are affected as it is today all over the world, this is why you are having panic buying, in a number of countries. And if it happens here or in Africa, we are also going to experience the same shortages.
This is human issue. It is not only Iranian or China or Italian or European or African issue. This is human issue.
For a population of Birmingham, which is just about 1 million plus, we already have 6 cases in this city. And then compared to, a population like, Lagos that have over 20 million and you just have 2 cases. So it's kind of scary here. People are really afraid. The panic is really increasing every single day. Like many universities across the UK are taking some very good steps to try to see if they could switch from live lectures to probably online lectures.
While noting that Nigeria's efforts at containing the coronavirus is attracting commendation in the Committee of Nations, the guests want the African Union to leverage on the trend for common policies that will further strengthen diplomacy.
My own perspective is that AU, because we are not the epicenter, we should now come together. We shouldn't do it. Oh, I think Ghana has imposed ban, South Africa too, Nigeria has not. We should now come together and take a decision to protect our continent.
The public was advised to manage anxiety to avoid mental breakdown, as is already seen in scenarios of panic buying in Europe and other climes. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And still on tackling the spread of COVID-19, especially for us in Nigeria, let's now join via Skype Live the Director General of West African Health Organization, Professor Stanley Okolo in Burkina Faso. Thank you very much, Professor, for joining us.
Thank you very much. I hope I can speak very well.
Yes, I can hear you. Now, can you briefly give us a situation report for the curtailment of COVID-19, especially in the West African region? Professor, I don't know if you heard my question.
Audio has gone. I cannot hear you.
Professor, I said, can you give us a situation report on how West African region has been able to curtail the spread of COVID-19?
Okay, at the moment, we do have COVID-19 cases confirmed in a good number of our countries. Senegal has 24 cases. Burkina Faso, where I'm speaking to you from, has about 15 cases as of today. Ghana has 6. Nigeria has 2. Cote d'Ivoire has 4, but we also have 1 case each in Togo, Guinea, Liberia, and in Benin Republic. Now, as you know, I did speak to you at some point talking about the preparedness that we have in our countries in terms of screening and in terms of monitoring those who are entering the countries. And all the cases in all our countries at the moment are all imported cases, except some of the cases that we have in Senegal, where we had some local transmission within a particular locality. Now, all the countries themselves are absolutely continuing with the plans that had been made by the health experts in terms of how to contact trace, how to isolate, how to quarantine where possible, and how to manage the cases. One of the things that is developing now, which is not very helpful, is that we must ensure that we continue to have a regional approach, as opposed to having individual country approach to this particular pandemic.
So what sort of collaboration exists between this region, especially when we're looking at laboratory network and surveillance data?
Network, if I heard you very well, the sound is not extremely good on this side, but the network is strong. Okay. And because the network is strong, that's why I can give you information on what is happening across all the countries on a real-time basis, because we are always communicating and coordinating. At the moment, one of the things that we're doing from my organization is to try and secure some more contingency stock, which we are sending to the countries, not only in terms of diagnostics, but in terms of personal protective equipment. However, we all know that different countries face different problems. And so there are some countries where the problems are problems of quarantine and infrastructure, and there are countries where the problems are to do with the individuals who will run some of those programs.
Now, Prof, WHO has commended Nigeria in curtailing the spread of the COVID-19 and even described it as one of the safest place to live presently. Now, what's your take on that?
We must all commend what Nigeria is doing. And as you can see, Nigeria is following on all the particular standards that have been agreed, both regionally and also the international health regulations as set up by WHO. Nigeria has not closed its borders because of coronavirus. Rather, it has strengthened the monitoring and surveillance at all borders, not only airport, but sea and also land borders that are open. And we must commend that. But also, it is really important the fact that Nigeria has now activated the emergency operating centers in not only Lagos, where the initial were, but also in all the other states. And what these EOCs do, the emergency operating centers, is that they are there as points of contact and also points of surveillance, so that you have within the states themselves activation of the practices and of the preparedness and programs that had already been drilled and that have been rehearsed for quite some time. And that is important. That is helping Nigeria. That is supporting Nigeria's efforts. And that is why we all commend it.
Yes, and even South Africa took a measure today, putting restrictions on some countries affected. But what are your parting words? There was this fear that if the virus come into Africa, countries with weak health systems may not be able to survive it. But so far, we have seen demonstration of what they can do. So what are your parting words?
The critical thing that we should try and do is to come together. And therefore, when we come together, for example, as the region of West Africa, that is when we will be stronger. Because if we start thinking of individual countries facing it on their own and also going solo in terms of some of the programs and things that they're doing only for their own people, it will not necessarily be the best approach. The best approach is that we are on it as a regional body, and therefore we can not only borrow good practices from places like Nigeria, but we can also support the weaker ones, and we can also support the hotspots. But by so doing and continuing to have transparency and continuing to ensure that we do not necessarily close our borders, that is when you will find that the region will be much stronger in trying to tackle this as a bloc.
Thank you very much, Professor Stanley Okolo, Director General, West African Health Organization. Thank you very much for your insight. We do appreciate you. All right, let's look at the judiciary. The Nigerian judiciary is taking concrete steps to deepen the competence of its judicial officers for more efficient delivery. It is in furtherance of this that judges and cadets in the country are undergoing a refresher training course in Abuja to be abreast of recent innovations in the administration of justice. Let's hear from Olabode Arewa.
Justices Amina Aliu and Vincent Nwacho are judges of the Kano and Ebonyi State High Courts. They are some of the judges participating in this refresher course aimed at promoting uniformity and efficiency in the quality of justice delivery in Nigeria.
They tell us certain things in vogue, how to take care of ourselves, and so that this job will be done the right way.
The workshop, organized by the National Judicial Institute, is re-evaluating standards of performance by the judges.
Democracy thrives upon strict adherence to the rule of law, speedy dispensation of justice, and fair conduct of cases with a view to ensuring that justice is not only done, but must be seen to be done.
For the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tako Muhammad, the virtues of competence, uprightness, and fairness remain the ingredients that would sustain a judicial officer in the performance of his duties.
Judges are enjoined to ensure the protection of human rights.
In recent times, the Nigerian judiciary has held a series of workshops to bridge gaps and embrace current trends in legal practice, expected to, among other things, rebuild the confidence of the citizenry. The National Judicial Institute believes that refresher courses such as this would serve to reinvigorate the passion of the judges and caddies to their duties on the bench. For the National Judicial Institute, Abuja, Olabo Derewa, NTA News.
Let's take a pause from this end as we join Zulay in our Kaduna Network Center to bring us more reports on Nationwide.
Thank you, Ruth. Good evening and welcome to Kaduna. As the world intensifies efforts to curtail the spread of COVID-19, authorities in Kaduna State have kept faith with their commitment to sanctifying the state against infiltration of the virus through sustained surveillance at entry and exit points. Major Adomo is standing by at Irrigation train station where members of the State Rapid Response Committee are on duty. Hello. The update from
Declaration of COVID-19 by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic. Multinational partners across the globe have been emphasizing definitive, decisive action to contend with this global calamity. Here in Kaduna State, though no single case has yet been detected, the authorities concerned are not resting on their oars. The State Rapid Response Committee has been up and doing, visiting especially exit and entry points throughout the state with advocacy and monitoring the situation. I'm here being joined at the Irrigation station by Malam Nur Alkali, member of the Rapid Response Committee. We are screening the passengers that are coming in. We are screening them. What is the essence of the screening? To detect whether their temperature is more than 37 degrees. So have you detected any person now that requires further investigation? No, we didn't detect anybody for now. What is the state of the facilities we are using? They are adequate. We have this facility. Look at the F1 here, and I have the infrared for temperature, for measuring temperature. And how have the people been cooperating with you? They are cooperating well. They are cooperating. Look at them, they are cooperating well. Thank you, Madam Nura. Thank you. So that has been the situation here at Irrigation train station in Kaduna. Over to you in the studio.
Right, thank you so much, Major Mara, for that update. And now to agricultural matters. Irrigation farmers in Kano State are taking advantage of research work on water management technologies popularized by the Institute of Agricultural Research, Ahmadu University's area to boost wheat production in the country. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports that it is expected that farmers trained under the scheme will transfer the technical know-how to farming communities in their areas.
Technologies for African Agricultural Transformation in NABLA Compact project for water management is part of the ongoing efforts to look inward in repositioning the agricultural sector in the country. The system will assist farmers to minimize loss and increase wheat production. It is in line with this that the research team from Institute for Agricultural Research, Zaria, selected 30 wheat farmers and 10 extension workers from Alkamama village in Bunkure local government area of Kano State and train them on new irrigation methods.
One of the reasons for poor yield is poor management of water. No matter how much fertilizer you put on the field, if water is poorly managed, your yield will be low.
It is expected that wheat, rice and sorghum production through the use of water management will double and serve dual purpose of job creation and changing the fortunes of farmers.
The celebration of this program in our land is another achievement, especially in aspect of agriculture. It has been for long that we are using the local term of irrigation by using water forms and the wastage of a lot of water in irrigation.
We will try to let His Excellency know the importance of this to his people.
Nigerians need such innovations to sustain current commitments to make it hub of food security not only in Africa but the world at large. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Right, thank you so much, Muhammad Rabiu Ali. And let's join Ruth in Abuja for more Nationwide.
Many thanks, Zulay. And we have to take a breather because we want to take some messages, so we're back.
Welcome aboard the Progressives.
The assurance I can bring Nigeria that I will continue to do my best.
The Progressives is the bulletin of the leadership strides and landmark achievements of the APC-led government in Nigeria. And I'm your host, Edith Yassin. Join me every week as we x-ray the different activities of the ruling party at all levels of government, bringing you facts and figures of progressive programs and projects. It's going to be entertaining, informative.
Being a technocrat doesn't mean that one is inflexible. It just means that one has different experience. And I think I can tell you that.
And reveal the Progressive, showing soon on this channel.
Some of the girls were having difficulties in their academics, and they now decided to ask us to help out, and we've decided to teach them other things, other skills. To invest in a woman is really to invest in a nation, because the women really are the heart of the family.
Engineering skills and technology define the quality of television transmission output. Training and retraining of appropriate personnel on the management of modern equipment is therefore a key competition strategy in the dynamic television industry. NTA TV College, Jos, invites relevant desk officers to special engineering courses as follows. 1-week course on audio engineering, operations and maintenance, date 20th to 24th April 2020. 1-week intensive course on electrical power, earthing, lighting, uninterrupted power supply UPS, inverter and solar system, date 1st to 5th June 2020. 1-week intensive course on studio broadcast equipment and outside broadcast operation, date 15th to 19th June 2020. 1-week course on new technologies, optical fiber, IP technologies, automation storage and wireless technology, date 10th to 14th August 2020. The venue for all courses is NTA Television College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. Course fee 40,000 naira per participant, accommodation inclusive. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Many thanks for staying tuned. And we hear market sensitization on coronavirus continues in Ibadan. Let's get the details as we join Larry in our Ibadan Network Center.
Thank you very much, Ruth, and welcome to Ibadan. Convinced that marketplaces remain highly volatile to the spread of coronavirus disease, the Oyo State Directorate of the National Orientation Agency, NOAA, has extended its sensitization campaign to major markets in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Funke Bidamiton was at the campaign to the ever-busy Ogunpa Provision Market and brought back this report.
Statistics released by the World Health Organization's WHO on the coronavirus COVID-19 puts infected persons across the globe to about 130,000, of which over 4,700 are reported dead. Although Nigeria's index case has been contained, efforts to prevent the spread has been upscaled across the country. The campaign to the Ogunpa provision market in Ibadan by the National Orientation Agency team witnessed the enlightenment of market men and women on personal and environmental hygiene, as well as prevention measures and symptoms of the disease.
We have come to their base to sensitize them on what they need to know. We are supposed to sneeze into the elbow, and make sure that you contain the sneezing within the elbow.
The traders comment.
We should tell the children that they should wash their hands with soap and water. Even the market people are coming here to buy something. We don't know the person that have coronavirus. They should be careful about the disease.
The National Orientation Campaign, which is also reaching out to religious leaders, will also be extended to motor parks and other public places. In Ibadan, Funke Bidamiton, NTA News.
Osun State Governor Gboyega Oyetola has signed into law the Osun State Security Network Agency codenamed Amotekun Core Bill 2020. Femi Afariugun reports.
I, Abule Ado, hereby sign the State of Osun Security Network and Amotekun Core Bill into law.
Governor Oyetola has high expectations that Amotekun will further concretize the profile of the state as the most peaceful and preferred investment destination in Nigeria. To him, the signing again is a further commitment to regional integration and shows high premium placed on security and welfare of the people.
I want to say that our region and our state will be the most secured in Nigeria. The recruitment will ensure that there is no particular local government that does not have a representation in the recruitment process. We're working out the details to ensure there's a smooth takeoff without any serious hitch.
We too will work hand in hand with the members of Amotekun Core.
Amotekun was launched in Ibadan on January 9 this year by the 6 Southwest governors in a swift response to the security challenges facing the region. In Osogbo, Femi Afariugun, NTA News.
Those were the stories from Ibadan. Nationwide continues with Ruth in Abuja.
Many thanks, Larry. Let's look at sports. The 20th National Sports Festival in focus. Let's have the details with Kene Ima Abudike.
It will be recalled that in a meeting with officials of NTA led by the Executive Director Marketing, the Deputy Governor emphatically announced NTA as the host broadcaster of Edo 2020.
We are also thankful to the management of NTA to have accepted to also carry out their mandate, and we have agreed with NTA that they are going to be the host broadcaster of this event. And NTA have the reach, and they are also uniting the nation. So